We're live. Oh my goodness. Happy Monday. I hope I'm coming through. My audio's good. We're back at it another week. It's Monday. And I just was trying some new things. So let's see. I hope everyone can hear me. Audio is one of the things I was kind of worried about today as we go into the stream. But if you can hear me, then throw me some love in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me. Then I don't have to worry that I'm just kind of sitting here with a visual. But hope everyone is coming into the chat saying hello. And I'm really looking forward to tonight's episode. I have somebody fantastic that I feel so close to, even though I feel like we haven't spent as much time as I wanted to with them. So I'm super excited, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So happy Monday, everybody. Hola, and welcome to my Mayhem Streamcast. I'm DJ. I'm your host. We're off for another week here, sharing our stories of mayhem. Hope everybody's feeling refreshed. I love to welcome everybody on Mondays. I just love streaming on Mondays. So visual descriptor today, female Latina, brunette with silver hair. Olive skin, brown eyes. I'm wearing red lipstick, big smile on my face, and I'm wearing like a camo print for military. It got like a raglan style camo shirt. So that's my visual descriptor. Thank you again, everyone that's here today. Hope everyone's been having a nice weekend. We want to be here to share our powerful stories and experiences, and we want to destigmatize and normalize mental health, disability, and trauma. And I really love these topics, coming back every week to share what we all really have going on in some way, shape, or another in our lives. So again, this is to create opportunities. We want to create connections and really encourage acceptance of these topics and these parts of our lives. Trigger warning I always give, and I love to encourage that we try to use discretion as we discuss things that can be a little difficult and mature in nature. And I like to stress that these are our opinions and our experiences, and we really like to come from a place of just bringing some awareness and just sharing what we part of what we've been through. So thank you again. If you're new here, if you're following me on Twitch, if you're on Facebook, wherever you're at, hello, I'm DJ. It's nice to see so many wonderful people coming through. I think I need to go ahead and get our wonderful guest out because it seems like we have lots of people, and it's always exciting when I have my guest welcome in the chat. Okay, so let's get back to it. It's so exciting. We're back here Monday night. She is a keynote speaker. She's a naval officer, retired naval officer, best-selling author, and she's a life coach. She has her Onward podcast that I can't wait to talk about, which is a live show as well, streaming to all her channels. So if you're on her channel paired with hers, thank you to Restream for that. She loves to talk about authentic conversations about facing adversity, moving forward, and discovering ourselves along the way. Just something that absolutely really within what I love to talk about as well, really having those kinds of conversations about the things we've been through. So Emily Harman is here tonight, and she encourages individuals to really achieve a meaningful life. Through her coaching, she really helps and assists individuals identify their personal challenges and really overcome them. She really focuses on identifying saboteurs, which is something that we're going to talk about tonight, by a program, Positive Intelligence. And I really can't wait. We're going to share mine. I took this quiz. I shared in the thing. So we're going to talk about that. All right. Let me get Emily out here and Pearl. Hi, Emily. Hi, Pearl.
Pearl's ready.
All right.
Hi,
Pearl's
everybody.
ready. All right. Emily, I'm so thrilled you're here. We've got so many people here for our conversation. So we're going to go ahead and start saying hello to everyone. Pearl, say hello. Say hi to Bruce. We're so excited. Thank you, Bruce, for stopping by. Mackenzie, the bestest bestie and mod ever. That always helps me. Checks all my channels, is on top of it. Thank you. Hi, Anthony Reed. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the sound check. Again, I was trying some new things. So I don't know. We might not notice anything. We might. I don't know. We're going to find out. So Rosemary, hello. Thank you for being here loud and clear. I love that reassurance. I think sometimes we start talking and all these questions pop in our head. Or is everything working? Did everything just work out the way we planned? You just hope for the best. So you're good on LinkedInLive. Thank you, Bruce. Emily, I'm so glad you're here. We have so many people. This is from Paired. So lovely Restream Facebook user. Hi, Facebook user. I don't know who you are from Emily's channel. I see you peeking through. Yeah. Oh, and that's Melly. Okay. Hi, Melly. I didn't recognize you. So it's good to see you. Another fellow streamer, podcaster. It's just amazing. Yes. Thank you so much. Katie J's here. Gotta say, show our appreciation to Katie J. Always such a good supporter of all the work we do and all the time we spend and these conversations that we really want to put out there to, help other people in their barriers, in their challenges, in their hardships, So, all right. Thank you so much. It looks good. Mariella. I saw Mariella. Yeah. Hello. Hi. It's so nice to have
Mariella and Donjette is there too. I saw
Donjette. Yeah, we're gonna pull up that name. Hello. Yeah, hi, I know you're talking about Emily. She is an outstanding leader. So absolutely. I love your picture too. Beautiful American flag. So can't wait to talk about so many things we have in common, Emily. Yes. I've been watching you for like the last year. I was a little intimidated to ask you to be on the show. And I know you have so many deeply personal stories that you've been sharing and opening up, and you really use in your work to really, again, help other people and, use it. So I want to know all about that. And that's what really today's about, and talking about positive intelligence and really talking about how you use that in your coaching program, and then how that affects our mental health and how our traumas are kind of connected to those saboteurs. So I'm not sure where we're going to start, girl. Where do you want to start?
Where are we going to start? I'll just start with a little bit about my background. So I worked for the Navy for 34 years, 38 if you count my time at the Naval Academy. And I made that decision to join the Navy when I was 17. So, and I just ended up staying. And I retired in 2019 after working for the Navy that amount of time. And I knew that I wanted to be a coach. And I was starting to become aware of some things about how I was living my life that I wasn't too happy with. Like I noticed that I just felt like I was pushing. I was in a lot of push energy, pushing through, just making sure, raising my two kids as a single parent most of the time and just kind of pushing through. And I felt like I wasn't really feeling my feelings. I couldn't tell you what they were. And I knew too that I was just always so busy. And so I knew that when I retired, I would have more time for some great conversations with people that I always just felt I was too busy for that. And I was really shocked to find out that when I retired, I was still busy. And I realized, it wasn't the job that was making me busy. It's me. And I've worked with a lot of coaches, and they, so many of them, I just kind of put it all together. But one of them said, when you point your finger at somebody else, like my job is keeping me busy. There's three pointing back at me. So whenever we're like blaming somebody else or saying if only they would change, or if, it's my job. We really need to take a look at ourselves. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years. And I've learned so much. I feel like I would have been, thank you, Donjette, for saying I'm a good leader, but I feel like I could have been such a more better leader had I had this self-awareness a couple years ago. And so
self-awareness, I mean, that is so key to our growth and our development and really our healing and getting through those parts of ourselves that we don't often want to face. We just want to put aside, we want to bury, we want to sweep under the rug, as they say.
Right.
Anything to avoid it, especially staying busy. Me and you, again, I could tell when I first was watching you in your streams, we just had a lot of similarities. And I know that we'll probably get to that as we talk about the saboteurs, and we'll talk a little bit about the actual quiz and some of those identified personas. I know it depends, but sometimes they call them those personas, I would think. I'm not sure. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, so I know dealing with all that trauma that we often avoid, we don't want to deal with, and that really kind of comes out in different ways, right? In our behavior, and we think that we're not paying it, that we're avoiding it, but we're, really like it's still festering inside of us.
Yeah, I had one of my podcast guests to say that when you shove your feelings to the basement or ignore them, they lift weights. And so right after I retired, and I thought, yes, I called my retirement graduation. Yes, I'm finally going to be able to create a life that I want. Then my daughter called and told me that her dad had cancer. And 2 weeks after, that was 3 weeks after I retired. And 2 weeks later, by mid-July, he was paralyzed in both arms from his cancer. And it was pretty bad. Goodness. And he ended up dying in 5 months. And I helped take care of him. We were divorced, but I helped take care of him. He's the father of both of my kids. And I saw him die with regrets. And I was the executive of the state. I have his files here. He had a lot of files on retirement, like waiting for, to kind of live his life once he retired. He was going to do all these fun things. And then that was another wake-up call to me, like, what do I love? What do I want to do in my life? How am I living my life? And so why am I so busy still? Why am I not creating, when you've worked at a desk or for the Navy, like on a ship earlier, and then, in a desk and that high up tempo, it's like it becomes a habit, like ingrained in you. And even after I retired, I was, call me crazy, but I was sitting at my desk working because I wanted to be a coach. So I had to, start taking my coaching classes, and I was hosting a podcast. So I was doing that. And some days I think, oh, I guess I could go hiking today. So I just was, I guess, kind of used to being compliant, even as a child. So I just started learning more and more about myself. And when I saw Bruce die, I thought, I really want to help people create a life that they love living. And so recently, I've changed my Onward podcast and my Onward live show to be the same theme as my Onward movement. So my whole message is create a life that you love living now. Like, don't wait for circumstances to change. What can we do now that creates more of a life that we love living? And we may, someone may say, well, I'm happy with my life. Well, what would you love? Happy isn't like something that you really love. So I'm hoping that, most people, maybe I'm just the only one, I'm hoping that most people are happy with their lives, but I'm sure we're meant to grow. And there's always, we're meant to grow, and we're always working to improve, trying to improve. And so that's what I mean. Like, look at your life and think, well, what changes would I want to make? When I worked for the Navy, the Navy does the strategic planning. I never really took that time to strategic plan for my life. Some people might, but I didn't. I don't know if you do, DJ.
Wow. Oh God, there's so much I want to say. I'm like, all these thoughts. So one was, I'm so sorry for your loss, right? Like, I can't imagine going through that in itself, that trauma, right? That was just one thing that kind of gave you this awareness, this insight to really start changing your life and assessing your life in a different way. I would honestly say that parts of the pandemic really put that same kind of pressure on people to say, okay, listen, like there's a seriousness to, um, like everything that's going on around you. You really need to figure out what works for you. And like you said, make yourself happy. Not happy, but I guess, more than that, but do what you
Joyful, like,
love.
yeah,
Love. I'll be honest, that's hard for me. And I've kind of talked about this maybe in other places where I don't use the word love. Like I find that as one of those words, a little more sacred. And
mhm,
so for me to put something, and then of course, we all know that when you put your heart into something, the chance of losing it, the chance of it disappearing or it doesn't work out, and then you've
yeah,
just invested so much. So I can understand, and that might go back to that saboteur thinking.
right.
Ah,
And when Bruce
but
died, that's when, I told you I wanted to feel my feelings. Oh my gosh, I didn't know all the
yeah.
feelings I had. Just confused feelings too, because, he had been verbally abusive. We got divorced in 2001, I think it was. And, he passed away in 2019. And we all got a little closure from him, me and my two children and I did. But it was, you know, angry, sad, disappointed, heartbroken, what if, all those feelings and dealing with them and not just shoving them back down to the basement again. I dealt with them
Mhm.
and it was really hard.
That's gotta be hard. I mean, and military. So let's talk a little bit just military context because I was in the military not nearly as long as you. I served 4 years active duty, but I wanted to come home. I was like civilian life for me it is.
Yeah.
But I understand a lot of what that takes. So in that sense of every processes and order and lack of emotion, right? It's not encouraged. There's just so much that goes on there. So there's a sense of training. You do as you're trained and you do as you're told. And I know that a lot of that has to do with that. There is no encouragement to pursue these creative passions.
Yeah.
You just don't hear that in the military, right?
Right.
That's just
No pursuit of
not one of
passion. No.
the pursuit of passion and creativity. Actually, I'm going to give a speech about related to this and these values and taking on the values of the military and
Yeah.
then maybe absorbing them so much that we lose ourselves.
Yes.
Then you realize there's a sense of realization of the better things, the finer things, the more deeper things. And I think that that's where you're at now. Really, it's just you're exploring all these things after 30 something years with that mindset, and the military really providing a lot of guidance at that time and a lot of structure and a lot of order, right? Because that's what they
Right.
do. They give us orders.
Good order. And I was
Yeah.
I was active
So,
duty for 7 years and then the
yeah.
reserves for 13. And then I worked for the Navy as a civilian. So I mean
But
that was
all
my
of that.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of this mindset of everyone you're working with and just, right, how everyone sees things and kind of very compliant. So I
Mhm.
want to really say I understand that. So moving on to now what you're doing and really finding the love in the things you do, doing things that you love to do. Like you said, hiking now in
Yeah.
the middle of the week, just taking Pearl. I love those pictures that you put up and
Yeah. I
being
carry
out
her.
in nature.
Mhm.
Yeah. So go ahead and talk a little bit about that and just this new exploration that you're into
Well,
and how
yeah.
you're
I'm catching myself at being in that, like, so my top saboteurs, and I know we'll get into that, are, well, it was hyperachiever and then restless. Now it's restless is number one and then hyperachiever. But I tend to just like to be somebody who likes to just get things off my to-do list. And, when you're
oh,
starting a company and you're starting a coaching business and you're hosting a podcast, live
mhm,
streaming, there's a lot of things on your to-do list, right? So I'm like, let me finish this, this, and this, and this. And so I have learned to catch myself and to go create that fun time. Like I take pottery classes with my mom. I'm going hiking Wednesday afternoon. I pretty much, I do have a few meetings on Mondays and Fridays because I'm in some coach training programs. But once I get my coach certification in a few in a month or two, then I won't be doing that. So my goal is to have long weekends like Friday through Monday. So just, really taking that time to not be busy and take that time to tune in to my intuition or my higher self or to God, however you call it, to really get to know myself better and to feel, because people who have this hyperachiever and this restless saboteur tend to just push through and not really feel their feelings. And so
Yes.
that's what, yeah.
Okay, so I'm sharing the positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs. That's where the quiz is at.
Yeah.
That's where I took the quiz. This is the website we're referring to. There's the programs on there that Emily already has her certification through that she really implements and uses.
Yeah, you could sign up on that website to go through the program. But if you do that, you wouldn't be led through a coach. So I charge the same amount on my website and take you through the program too. So whichever.
Right. Well, I mean, and really it's to just kind of give people an understanding of what you're using, right? The positive intelligence. And so I'm going to share mine, and I want to share mine. And then we can just kind of talk a little bit about each of the saboteurs, at least the top 3. And then whatever it is. I'm a little nervous, but we'll share. But I did put in the chat the link in the chat, which it doesn't go to LinkedIn. And I'm sorry. I wish LinkedIn would catch up and be able to drop links as I push them out from Restream. I don't know why it does that, but neither does some of the other competitors. So hopefully LinkedIn, I think it's on the side that really needs to kind of work on that. But hopefully we can get the link out to LinkedIn.
You add it into the chat and then it goes there. Oh, okay. Nice.
Well, I sent it out. So hopefully if everyone can click on the link, follow the page, you can see on there what we're referring to. And Emily's link is, I just put Emily's link up, but I will definitely.
If you take the saboteur assessment now, you'll probably get your results before the show's over.
Oh yeah, that's part of the fun. That's why I had put the link in there, because I was like, I would love to see everyone engaging on their saboteurs. It's a little bit fun and engaging, and we can all learn something about ourselves. So
yeah.
But I want to put your link, and I know I keep sharing it, and this is just my silliness, but it's emilyharman.com, and on there that positive. All right, there we go. I just wanted to send out your link for your website too, Emily.
That's fine. Yeah.
But when we're doing 50 things here, how it goes. Okay. So both of those links. Thank you, Mackenzie, for sharing it on LinkedIn. Yeah. This is best mod ever. See, there we go. Positive intelligence. So it's on LinkedIn. Yes. I did the questionnaire. I guess I'm a stickler.
and so one thing I would say is, we actually, who you really are is sage. You're curious, you're compassionate, you're really still the person you were when you were 4 or 5. Like I look at my 5-year-old grandson and it's just like, you've got a 6-year-old DJ. And I mean, that's who we really are before all that conditioning of school and telling us that we're not good enough and all that stuff. We're really that, and that's sage. And so what I say is, I have a hyperachiever saboteur. You could say, I have a stickler saboteur. But when we say I am, that's commanding that I am a stickler. No. And basically too, the saboteurs are really strengths that are overused. So, my hyperachiever, my hyperachiever saboteur helped me get all those awards back there, right?
Yes.
Okay. But I got them feeling stress and anxiety. I was stressed and anxious a lot in those jobs. And so it may have pushed me, but now when I'm working in something that I really love, I was stressed in the Navy for a lot of reasons. I mean, a lot of folks that work with the Navy are really like data centric and everything. I don't really like data. I'm more of like a visionary, more of like intuitive. And so I didn't realize that was what was kind of causing my stress. And so now I'm doing what I really love, and I feel in flow, and I don't feel like stressed a lot of the time. I mean, I still get stressed, but So my hyperachiever doesn't really push me with stress to get things done, which is kind of, in some ways, I felt more of that when I was in the Navy. And I'm not saying I didn't love the jobs that I had. I mean, I did, but I was stressed a lot.
I get it. All right. I totally understand that, because me working in social services for over 20 years, really giving a lot of myself. Yes, it was stressful, but it was just as rewarding. I mean, there was no doubt that, I enjoyed it, but I can see, looking back, how there were things that were missing in my life, like the creativity, a value that I've just taken on this last year as a value of my own, that everything that I want to do in a creative and just a very, open way.
Yeah, I love it. Look at your background. I love your background.
Thank you. And that's part of that. Like, live streaming really has allowed me to have the conversations I want to have, but in a creative way. So, okay, I want to say hi to Jenny, because we didn't say hi to Jenny yet. So, hi, Jenny. Don't worry about, we don't ever apologize. And Alex, I pulled your comment if you're still here. Hey, girl. Hey, thank you for popping over, checking out our conversation. Hopefully, you're enjoying it too. And did I miss anybody else? I know, I don't think so. I just wanted to say Rosemary, she got back on Facebook, so that's good. Facebook, yeah, that's fine. And Chris made it. I just made a reference to you before the show started about, working so hard, and I guess so. Okay, Jenny says she's taking the quiz now, so that's gonna be fun. Good. Jenny, I can't wait to hear. I'm going to share my results. I have them. I'm going to share them here because I have them like an overlay. So, and it was a screenshot from my phone, so it's going to sit right between me and Emily. That's great. Fine. We've already talked about my saboteur. You've already made a reference to it, and so I can't wait to just hear more about what they are, how they can kind of hold us back, how we can learn to work through them or use them in a positive way. Is that what we mean by positive intelligence, is using the saboteurs and really turning that into a more positive approach?
Kind of. It's really, it's kind of, because if you address your saboteurs, you really increase your emotional intelligence as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, the saboteurs cause all of our stress, all of our anxiety. If we're feeling stressed, anxious, whatever, one of our saboteurs is acting up. And so before you put your thing up, I would say that we all there's one universal saboteur that's not going to show up in your assessment, and that's the judge. So I'm sure you're familiar with your judging yourself. Like, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're, whatever it is, you messed up this situation. I mean, we all have an inner critic, right? So Shazad, the guy that wrote this book, he calls that inner critic the judge. So, but the judge does more than judge ourselves. It judges circumstances. This is COVID, it's bad. Situations, other people, right? Oh, she's late to the meeting, so she just must not care about this meeting. How do you know that? How do you know why she's late? I mean, we have these thoughts, right? So, and a lot of us are not as aware of the judge. If you go through this program, you become more aware of your judge. You might think, I don't have a judge. I don't judge other people. We all do. Sometimes we're just not as aware of it. And the judge is the universal saboteur, because we all have this judge. And the judge, these saboteurs live in the left side of our brain, the reptilian side of our brain. They served a purpose at one point. The judge did. Danger, a lion, run, right?
Right.
And so now they cause, stress when we really don't need to feel this stress. So the judge will then go recruit some of these other saboteurs, depending on the problem or the challenge that it sees. So let's see what your saboteurs are.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So I think we should definitely then maybe, because now we're, 30 minutes in. So we're going to get to that.
Saboteurs. If you've never felt under stress, then maybe you don't have a saboteur, but I doubt there's anybody that has. Yeah.
I doubt it. All right, Denise, thank you for being here. I didn't give you a shout out, so welcome, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Jenny says there's lots of questions.
Yeah.
So 50 questions, but you go with your instinct, right? You just go with
Yeah.
your natural answer. Don't overthink it. Just click the button and move on. Just let it flow. If possible. Sometimes there's lions. Yes.
Yeah, there are.
Sometimes there's
Sometimes you
lions.
need your judge to tell you there's a lion and run.
Right. So, I mean, I had a very extensive, I guess, conversation with the judge earlier today. Maybe I should do a self plug. Okay, so this is something that I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna let Jenny finish that. Um, but yeah, so I was having like my own self saboteur, I guess, today, and I know that this is something I do because I'm very much like you, love to achieve things. I love to push myself. I like to, get stuff done, get it off, and move on to the next thing, and just always stay busy. Oh, I know that phrase. I'm
Hmm.
busy. I'm so busy. Have to
Yeah.
stay busy.
Yeah.
So even finding comfort and safety in that phrase, in that kind of like being able to deflect and kind of say, "Oh, I'm busy. I can't really handle that right now." So, and I guess we use that to accommodate the saboteurs.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know. Okay, okay. So, all right. So we're at the 30-minute mark. I'm going to start trying to do my own little self-promotional plug here, folks. Okay. So we're going to just kind of get away. I'm going to do a 30 minute. Oh,
30
goodness.
minutes.
30-second commercial because I really want to start promoting my Arbonne. And this is something that I've been playing with their products for a long time. So I'm going to play a video and I don't know. Hopefully it's not a long video. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Is this a video? Oh, really? I hear like chatter in the background and my mind's going crazy. Okay, saboteurs. Okay, watch this little video.
Arbonne's new Rescue and Renew collection. Could it get any better? Well, it just did. Introducing pure essential oils from Rescue and Renew. Relax and unwind with soothing herbal lavender. Uplift and awaken your senses with bright tangy lemon. Get energized and invigorated with fresh peppermint. Or delight in the harmony of rosemary, orange, lavender, and ginger. These pure essential oils are sustainably sourced from botanicals around the world. The perfect scents to diffuse, delight, mix in, or massage, transporting your body, mind, and soul to a place of serenity, health, and peace. Arbonne's new pure essential oils from Rescue and Renew. Now anyone can experience pure transformation.
Yay. So I've been working my Arbonne. So part of the story was I've been trying to stream on Instagram to really like work with those products. And I didn't stream. I keep saying, I'm going to stream. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then those saboteurs come into play.
Yeah.
They,
They were.
I freak myself out. I'm like, I don't want to do no makeup. Who wants to see me do this? Maybe I start aging, right? Using these aging things in my mind. And so it is a struggle. And I think like all of us, as much as we want to do in our lives and as much we want to strive for, I totally understand those saboteurs because I feel like I'm having conversations with them constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. They hold us
So,
back. They cause us a lot of stress.
yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull up my saboteurs. Because now that everybody sat through that little video, hopefully, get a little sense of what Arbonne is. So reach out. But we're going to talk about my saboteurs. And Emily's going to help me understand a little bit of what they are. So, oh, goodness, I am warm. Let's see. Where's my little graphic? All right, here we go. This is embarrassing, but let's see. What do you think, Emily? Okay, everybody, here we go.
All right. Who's saying it's embarrassing? Your judge?
I don't know who is saying it's embarrassing. I mean, this is like us showing ourselves. So I came up hyperachiever. I like to achieve things like write military, bachelor's degree, strive for a master's degree, certification this, certification that. I don't feel like it's enough if I don't have a certification for it. I mean, at one point I wanted to go for my PhD, right? And I feel like if I don't get this PhD, what do I amount to? And that's terrible thinking. That is that maybe hyperachiever, right? But
Who's saying it's terrible
avoider.
thinking, your judge? Yeah, okay, avoider.
But avoider is my second one. So we really need to talk about avoider. What's the avoider?
Okay. So, and everyone can get this book. And if you go to, this is the Positive Intelligence. It's on the New York Times bestseller list.
I saw the Audible for it.
Yeah. And if you go to his website, he has a description of all of these. So if you'd like, I can read the description of the avoider, and you can tell us if any of this resonates with you.
Right.
Okay. Oh boy, I don't have my glasses. Okay. The description of the avoider, a focus on the positive and pleasant in an extreme way, an avoidance of difficult and unpleasant tasks and conflicts. So the characteristics: avoids conflicts and says yes to things that really aren't desired, downplays the importance of some real problems and tries to deflect others, has difficulty saying no and resists others through passive aggressive means other than directly. And some of this may or may not resonate with you. Loses self in comforting routines and habits and procrastinates on unpleasant tasks. The thoughts of the avoider, the key thoughts are, this is just too unpleasant. Maybe if I let it go, it will take care of itself. If I deal with this now, I'll hurt someone's feelings. I'd rather not. If I get into conflict with others, I might lose my connection with them. I found balance and I don't want to mess with it. Or I'd rather give someone else his way than create a scene. And then the feelings that these thoughts lead to: tries to remain even keeled, feels anxiety about what has been avoided or procrastinated on, fears hard-won peace of mind might be interrupted or being interrupted, and suppresses anger and resentment. And the lies are, you're a good person to spare others' feelings. No good comes out of conflict. It's good to be flexible. Someone needs to be the peacemaker. And then one more thing, the impact on self and others of this saboteur. Denying conflicts and negativities that do exist prevents the avoider from actually working with them and turning them into gifts. Feeling numb to pain is different than knowing how to harvest the wisdom and power of pain. What's avoided doesn't go away and it festers. Relationships are kept superficial through conflict avoidance. Others' trust level is reduced because they're not sure when the negative information is being withheld. Ooh. Does it resonate or not? I don't know.
Some of that, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying all of it does, but some of it does.
Yeah, but some of it definitely. I don't want to upset people. I don't want to be too confrontational. I don't want to come across as too aggressive. I think as women or military and that, oh, she's so aggressive, or the B word, right? Like all that stuff that just, but okay. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely resonates. And I know that there's people in the chat that understand that.
Well, so I don't have an avoider saboteur, but we both have the hyperachiever saboteur, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So the hyperachiever, basically, I won't read the whole thing, but competitive, good at covering up insecurities and showing a positive image, adapts personality to fit what would be most impressive to others, goal-oriented and a workaholic streak, can be, keeps people at a safe distance, emotions get in the way of performance, focuses on thinking and action. And that's how I was with the Navy. I didn't really, get into my feelings or, I just was like, let's check this off, keep going. And even with being a single parent and raising my kids, I just felt like I had to push through. Right. So, needs to be successful, feels worthy mainly through accomplishment. And the lies are that life is all about achieving and producing results. Portraying a good image helps me achieve results. Feelings are just a distraction and don't help anything. And basically, peace and happiness are fleeting and short-lived in brief celebrations of achievement, if I ever celebrated achieving.
Me too.
So,
I don't celebrate achievements.
yeah,
It's really hard to like post about something. It's like, oh, I have to share that. No, I don't want to share.
right. I don't want to share that. I mean, it
I
took a lot
did it
to
for
deal with
myself
my
and checked
words.
it and keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when they drive you with stress, that's when, we learn how to catch that and switch.
Yeah.
In this program, you learn to switch to the right side of your brain, which is where the sage, approach things with a calm, clear-headed action, curiosity, compassion for yourself, compassion for others, find the gift or the opportunity. And so basically in this program, you learn how to catch yourself when you're being hijacked by your saboteurs and strengthen that muscle. Basically Shirzad says, how long are you going to leave your hand on the hot stove? For example, somebody with a stickler saboteur that messed up a briefing, but with a typo or something. I mean, I don't know if that saboteur keeps you up at night, stressed all weekend because you made a mistake on a slide.
Listen.
Is that how you really want to feel? How do you catch yourself and need to forgive yourself?
Yes. I've been working on that. So for me, I found safety in that creativity. Like it's okay. Like letting it go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, the P word, perfect.
Right.
So trying to avoid, right? Knowing that nothing's perfect. It will never be perfect. So I wrote this blog. I wrote a blog article this weekend and I said, okay, I'm going to start blogging. Here we go. Like for once a month, I'm going to commit to just really capturing the month. Something to really just something else to do. God dang overachiever. Okay. But I wrote the blog, 2,000 words or however many words I made. And I still have to go back and edit it. And it's like that overachiever. It's like, I got to edit it. I can't post it until at this and the pictures and I have it, the copy's right. And it's like, and then time just keeps ticking away and more things come up to do. And it's just a lot. But those
Does your
saboteurs are
kick in?
constantly.
Your kicks in maybe?
That's what it is. That's the one that keeps showing up because wasn't able to kind of identify it. But now since you put it that way, that's definitely on. You're right. You're a good coach, Emily. You're a good coach.
I mean, I don't know. And combine, my two, restless and hyperachiever, both of them are you tend to ignore your feelings. And restless is like, oh, let me get that coaching certification. Let me get that one. Let me take that class. Let me take that class. And, it shows up when I'm being hijacked by my restless saboteur. It also shows up in my condo because I've got all these unfinished projects. I started doing this. I had this phone call and that phone call. So my outside world is a reflection of how I'm feeling inside.
Ah, yes. Okay. So it's starting to make more sense and it's really helping me. All right. I'm going to go to the chat. I think those are bits. Thank you for the bits on Twitch. I'm getting these notifications. Who sees these little notifications? Wait. This is part of the right there. Thank you. Thank you for that. Those are probably bits and on my Twitch. So thank you for that. Okay, let's get to the chat because this is really great. Bruce, thank you for being here. You're hyperachiever, great qualities. So, yes, we're learning. I love learning about this. Jenny, thank you. Just finished. We're waiting for those results. This is good. We got 15 minutes before we get out of here. So this is going to be fun. Let's see. Do that in the moment, pick things apart. Okay, so that might be part of the avoider saboteur. I would have to kind of go back and really understand what type of behavioral, like the behaviors to catch that saboteur. I want to say hello to Mike. I saw Mike in the comments. Where did Mike go? Mike knows me so well. And Scott.
It's these saboteurs that cause us stress, okay? If you're achieving and you're in ease and flow, great. But if you're achieving under stress and anxiety, and that's what's driving you, that's when you're hijacked by your saboteurs.
Oh, okay.
So saboteurs are sometimes a strength that are overused. Yeah.
This is very good and juicy. I love this. This is amazing. Thank you, Russ, for being here. I'm learning so much. I wanted to share. I knew Emily would just bring so much to the table. And just so much great information. Juana knows, the perfectionist you. She knows me very well in that sense. Yeah. And I think there's a few of us like that. If you don't have 2 to 3 dozen projects going at once, then what are you even doing? Oh, yes. Juggling, right? We're juggling, trying to hold it together, keeping this appearance of what we're doing, what we can do, how worthy we are, proving our social proof. Gotta have our social proof.
Yeah.
But this is so true. This is just all the same stuff. Where is Mike's comment? Gosh darn it. I was trying to go back. Dwellin, I saw you. Thank you again. I don't want to forget to say hi to you and kidneytrails.com. I can't wait to have a great conversation with you coming up in the next month or two. But it's there's Mike. Mike popped in. He left me one comment. Thought it started at 7, a tad late, LOL. But my two favorite people, glad I didn't miss it completely. No, Mike, but Mike knows my avoider saboteur. I think that saboteur comes out so much, and Mike gets the most of that. Me always like having those limiting beliefs and believing them. And so I think that there's different ways to kind of, different programs have these different kinds of names. So we could, if you call it this in this program or this, but there is a sense of an element that this is generally understood, right? Like it's just a way that people kind of take that information and
some people might not resonate with the way Shirzad explains it. Other people might. Some people might resonate with it, looking at it from a different angle. But
but I had never heard of this, so I found this like super intriguing, and I've just not really, I wasn't familiar with the saboteurs, and just again, going to school and really trying to stay in that field of mental health and stuff, and it just hadn't come across. So is it so I just find it great, it really helps us. So how can we use this in our benefit, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. How do we use these saboteurs, this information?
Well, what Shirzad recommends in his program, and which I have found works for me, and I've got some testimonials on my website. Shirzad has testimonials on his website. He's worked with a lot of companies, a lot of executives at different companies, is that what we do is we learn to strengthen our self-command muscle. We learn to notice when we're being hijacked. Like, let's say you're avoiding something, right? You're procrastinating, it. So you start to recognize the lies that your avoider saboteur is telling you. And one way to start recognizing them is to strengthen your self-command muscle, is to start noticing. And one way we do that is through a PQ rep. That's what he calls it. He calls positive intelligence PQ. And a PQ rep is just a short, some people might call it a meditation, but it's a short focusing your mind on something. So he might have us, you might just like rub your two fingertips together and be feeling your fingerprints, and just notice that. And when your mind wanders, bring it back. And it's not like for 15 minutes, it's like for a minute or two. And every time you do that, you strengthen that muscle to recognize when you're being hijacked, when you're feeling stressed, to get curious about it and to say, no, I'm going to command my mind. You become more in command of your mind, and then your mind controlling you. So you catch that. And then you actually, they can show on an MRI, you're creating new neural pathways in your brain to not go to your automatic avoider or your automatic hyperachieve, because this situation I need to achieve, to stop yourself and say, switch to the right side of your brain, which is more compassion, curiosity. You get curious. Why am I feeling this way? What's really the truth? Is it the truth that, what my saboteur is telling me? And so you basically, in this program, you learn to practice doing those PQ reps throughout the day. Because I can meditate in the morning and be calm and write in my journal and feel great. And then I go to work, or then the day happens, right? And that's when the day happens. Somebody not cuts you off on the road. This happens, that happens, and the stress kind of builds up. Some of them are little things. Some of them are big things. And And so what you have is you have an app on your phone. You can see it on his website when you do the program that reminds you to do these PQ reps, and they have different ways. It's noticing your breath. It's noticing how your fingers feel. It's rubbing a hand against the other hand. It's noticing sounds far away. You're training your mind. You're training your mind to not listen to those lies of the saboteurs and to switch so that you're not in stress. You're more in ease and flow. That's the kind of, in a nutshell, the whole program. It's 7 weeks, so it takes a while. And, you know, our saboteurs will tell us, this is crazy. I don't have time to do this. I think we do have 2 minutes a day in the morning, midday, and in the evening to do these PQ reps. We do.
Wow. Well, it sounds great. I mean, you really taking the time to do that for yourself and acknowledge that.
It's one of my clients couldn't sleep at night. She owns a company, and her saboteurs were just keeping her up at night, beating her up. Now she's able to sleep through the night, not getting stressed.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. You know, I really share a lot about, I mean, I hate to use the word anxiety because that is a clinical term, but it is, right? It's for me, it is anxiety. For me, it is that keep me going, and the nerves and the sweats, and am I doing it wrong or right? So for me, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I do try to find ways to kind of release and not believe those thoughts that come and try to destroy what I'm doing.
That's right.
Take away my happiness, take away my joy for it.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're referring to, is they really strip that joy in what you're doing. I was having so much fun writing that blog.
Yeah,
it
you
felt
were in
so
flow,
good
right?
to pour it out. I was inspired, so I wrote it. I mean, 6 hours like of writing, and then towards the end, like the saboteurs are like, "You're not gonna post that, are you? Like that's not written. Like you're not even done." And it's like, "Oh, but you're too tired. You know." And like, who wants to read that? Like all those things. So yes, and
you get it.
I do get it, girl. I do get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So for me, it helps. I do want to answer Jenny's question because Jenny asked me about my saboteurs. So let me share those again. Jenny, what are you? What are you?
She is Sage. Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh, she has these saboteurs. Yes.
I'm Sage. We're all Sage. Okay, we're all Sage, but I am a hyperachiever, which I already knew that.
Saboteur.
Right. Stickler, I will do a little bit more research. So generally the top 3. Hypervigilant is equal to stickler though. So that kind of is like, okay. I have 2 that are just right there running side by side. So maybe they're interchangeable. Not in the sense where they're interchangeable, but they're like, I don't know.
You work on, you do, if you go through the program, when you don't say, I'm going to work on my hyperachiever today or my avoider. These exercises, it works on all of them. So
well,
it quiets all of them.
That's good. I think this just kind of helps you understand
the
place you're working from,
right?
Maybe, or what. All right, I'm gonna try to take all this stuff off. So let me take off our lovely saboteur information of what Jenny, share yours. If you found yours or if you got the email, at least just drop 1 or 2. I would love to know what came out of that. Or anyone else for that matter. Anybody else wants to share their saboteurs, I would love to know more. Let's see. Elizabeth, thanks for popping over. Hey. We're just having a good old casual mayhem conversation on a Monday. Just talking about our saboteurs. Thank you so much, Facebook user. What do you think I am? Jenny. I don't want to make an assume. I don't judge. I don't want to judge.
We're not going to assume. You have to tell us if you want, if you're comfortable. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So imagine you're in a room at work. You're in a meeting. And all these saboteurs are running around. You're talking to somebody who you're being hijacked by your hyperachiever. Like, we've got to get this done. And somebody else is being hijacked by their avoider. or they're stickler, so you can imagine that it's not just us in the room. These saboteurs are in the room. There you go. She's got the stickler saboteur.
Okay. A lot of us, I don't know what that is. It didn't pop up very high on mine. Okay, so Mackenzie's sharing stickler, avoider, victim. So
my mom has a stickler. She doesn't.
I need to go back and pull up my picture now. I'm like, wait, where's stickler on mine? It's not even on there. Oh, wait, it is up there. Okay, 6.9. So I'm going to have to do a little research. See, everyone's got a little stickler in them.
We all have a little stickler in us, and it's a matter of like, how much does it cause us stress and anxiety? There's another assessment on his website that you can take, and it will tell you the % of the time during the day that you're typically hijacked by your saboteurs.
Oh,
that's your PQ score. So that's another assessment that you can take.
Yes. Bruce, thank you. Go get some food. Thank you for hanging out. We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up. You know how to get a hold of Emily, Bruce. Everyone, hopefully, connect with Emily if you haven't done so yet. Wealth of knowledge, experience, compassion, and curiosity. All the things that I love to be, Emily. I want to be compassionate and I love to be curious. So I'm totally enjoying this conversation. And I really, really did look forward to it. And I knew that I could just relate in so many ways. And putting myself out there as to my saboteurs, I thought that would be kind of fun. And, I think that's part of being a leader. Right? That's what us being up here and really having these conversations and putting our pieces of ourselves, parts of ourselves, that we're just like everybody else. We're all equal. We're all have these things, these parts of us. So no one should be judging anyone else. We should all be practicing kindness.
Right.
Or kindness incorporator, Elizabeth. So
you know what, too, I was just talking to somebody.
Thank you.
Yeah, Donja. I'm not the best at explaining it, but, maybe when we're having this conversation on race, maybe it's not necessarily a conversation on race. Maybe it's our saboteurs hijacking each other so much that we can't even have a decent conversation about tough topics. Something to think about. I'm going to be speaking about this at an upcoming diversity, equity, and inclusion conference that the Navy's having in February. So,
congratulations! Yeah. How great! That's fun.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, that definitely talking about those things, especially representing military, women in the military, people of color in the military, people of color outside of the military. But just having all those, inclusive and diverse conversations. Okay, so Jenny says hypervigilant and hyperachiever. Who, me? No, not you, Jenny, not you. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing and being part of the conversation. I really love that we can just share this and we're all saying, we all have these kinds of thoughts and we all have to battle these things we've been through. So I want to talk a little bit about trauma, not to dig too deep in it, but just knowing that we all have this trauma and the saboteurs, and we just have to keep going, right? Finding our support systems and finding a way to, find safety. And I don't know, I think maybe you even alluded to that in kind of like the community and who we surround ourselves with and really how we're investing our time. So, maybe listening to our intuition.
Yeah.
Finding more peace, joy in the things we do. So if it brings you anguish,
stress and anxiety. So
you need to visit that. You need to kind of be aware of that. Visit and be curious about it.
Yeah.
Be curious about it.
Like I said at the beginning, DJ, I thought that when I retired, I would feel calm, that I would not be achieving as much. I'm retired, but I still was, and I was still restless. So, I was thinking it was the job. It wasn't the job, it was me. And the only way to change it wasn't to change my outside circumstances. It wasn't like get another job, do this, that. It was to change me, and also to find work like coaching that I really love. That doesn't, that I really love. So I'm more in flow like that. I just thought that that's how work was,
Wow.
But it wasn't just work. It was me, because work went away and I was still like that.
So true. So true. It's so true. So yeah, I mean, and I think we put a lot of deflection on other things, like you said, the work. Oh, well, it's the work, and we don't want to take ownership, and that's really
Yeah.
hard. I talk about that acceptance piece a lot in these conversations. That normally, we bring awareness, and we have these conversations to bring awareness, but the acceptance, whether it's our own internal acceptance that we're still struggling with. So it really sounds like this aligns.
Yeah.
Right along with that. All right, we're done. We made it to an hour. We had a super intense, wonderful, engaging conversation, I think.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And
I
thank you
know.
everybody who came. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
And listen to the coffee pots. Yes, I love that. We got to listen to those coffee pots. I love that. Okay, so Rosemary says bye. We're going to say goodbye. Jenny, thank you. Don Jett, thank you. Rosemary, Bruce, Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, I don't want to miss anybody. Juana was here. Russ Hedge was here.
Michael
Scott Smith. Michael stopped by. Dwellin was here. Just so many wonderful people, supporters. Denise was here. I saw Chris Hennessy stop by. Alex stopped by. So again, all right, everyone. Thank you. Emily, thank you. Connect with Emily. Reach out to her. She's got so much information. And all right, I guess that's it. Let me see if we can pull out my little outro, and off we just going to wave and say goodbye, I guess, and say goodnight. Good night, everybody. Bye.